Hi everyone, I'm Sharon Cook. I'm from the String Along Quilt Guild. I am also a Sulky online instructor from the brand Sulky, and so I am certified to teach some of the classes, and this is actually one of the items that we would have be able to teach in one of our classes, and this is called the 3D Travel Tray. So this is what the project is of the month for our String Along Quilt Guild. And so as you can see, I've got some threads in here. The one I'm going to be making today is actually going to be my thread catcher that I'm going to be taking with me to retreat. And this is the sample that I made that I want to be able to show you. Now, the reason why it's called a travel tray is you could see that we have it in its already tray form, but what's pretty cool about this, since I put snaps on it, the snaps will let it lay down flat, and so then you can just pack it flat within your bags or materials or whatever. And this is really nice, especially if you're on vacation and you know that you want to store some things next to you on the bed. You don't want things rolling over. If you take your watch off, if you take any earrings or other jewelry off, and you can have it right there next to you on the little nightstand there. But another great thing that you can use this for is for your keys. I made one for my son using some different kinds of prints because he is a hunter. And so I made some with some hunting motif fabric on there. And they put it right by their front door on the little end table right there, and they just toss their keys in there. So I'm also making another one for our kitchen. I just bought some cupcake fabric, and I'm going to be making that for our kitchen so we can throw our keys in there so we know that we don't have to keep searching for our keys. So this has a lot of different uses. You can use it as a little gift bag. When Mother's Day is coming up, you could put some little gifts in here and package it up. This would be kind of cute because this could be used for so many different things. So I'm going to go through the directions on how to do this. It is super easy. The hardest part is just going to be actually ironing on the stabilizer. And the stabilizer I used was Sulky. This is called Fuse and Stitch. And it's a very thick product here, very sturdy. And one of the sides, these are my scraps that I had left from cutting numerous ones out. So you could see it's very sturdy. One of the sides, I don't know if you can tell, it is shiny. That's going to be the adhesive side, and this is going to be the side we iron. And the hardest part, honestly, is making sure you have a hot enough iron to be able to fuse it to the wrong side of your fabric. So all you have to do is start with 2 squares. And I have chosen in both of these cases to use different colors. And once you use 2 different colors, then you have to decide, well, what's going to be the outside, what's going to be the inside. So in this case, I'm going to have the teal color is going to be on the outside, and I have, this is my thimbles here, and this is going to be on the inside. And like I said, this is going to be, I'm going to be taking this with me to retreat, and it packs really nice and all that. So let's go through the directions. This one was made from an 11-inch square, where I started with, and this one, you know what, I didn't quite have a wide enough piece, so I went with a 10-inch square on this one. But honestly, you can use any shape square, any size square between 10 inches and 12 inches, and that'll give you something approximately this size here. So that's what I'm going with. And so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut out your Fuse and Stitch from Sulky here, or if you have something else at home that is equally good. But then I fused it to the back side of this, and once again, you really need a very hot iron, and when you are ironing it, you do have to let it set for a while and push on it and then pick it up and set. So I count to 20 or something like that, or sing the ABC song. I kind of get bored after a while. But so that's the hardest part, honestly, of doing this, is making sure it's fused very well. So you can see it's pretty doggone sturdy here. And that's what we want, because we want it to be able to have some shape when we form the corners here. So the next thing we're going to do is we want to add some stitching to this, or some quilting to this. Now there's no batting in between this or anything like that, but we do want to add some decorative stitching on here. So as you can see on this one, I'm hoping you can see that. I actually went with some metallic thread, which is pretty cool. And you can see on the inside there, hopefully you could see the metallic thread. All right. This metallic thread is actually called Hollow Shimmer. And this is, once again, by Sulky, since I'm a Sulky instructor now. And what's nice about these is once you understand the gist of sewing with these, it's honestly, it's quite easy. In the past, I've had such horrible luck being able to sew with metallic threads, but once I learned the secrets to that, oh my God, I mean, I just keep wanting to add more and more to this. So one of the secrets is if you have one of those mounts for the thread, you can have it where it is sideways here. So some of us have it, not this one right here where it's sideways, but you want it perpendicular in the opposite direction to where the sewing machine is. So you want it to form that T there, okay? And this helps to come off the roll much easier. Another thing that it's absolutely a must is you have to have the right size needle. Oh my God, what a difference this made when I started using the metallic thread and had the right size needle. So in this particular case, this is this actually says metallic needles, and this is a 9014, and it has a bigger eye on it, which allows the thread, which is slightly wider, to be able to go through there. And oh my gosh, it makes such a difference. Another thing, I can't believe I didn't know about this for a long time, something called Sewer's Aid. Holy mackerels, this is great. You need to get some of this. I think I got this at Joann Fabrics, and this is basically a lubricant. And when you're using metallic threads, sometimes when it's getting fed through the system of your sewing machine here, it gets a little warm, it gets a little tight, and it kind of pulls, but you just literally will put a drop where some of the very hot spots are. So I usually put a drop right here where it's initially starting to feed through, and then I put a drop by the eye of the needle to help it feed through much easier. And then I just pull a short length of it out, and what a difference that makes. And you can use this with any threads that are out there, but I didn't know about this for years. Like I said, I just found out about this product. It is awesome. So that's something else to use here. So what I did is I wanted to make a quilting motif on here, and you can use some of your decorative stitches. You don't have to use the hollow shimmer or the metallic threads here. You can use some variegated threads. In this case, these are the blendables. And Sulky makes these blendables, and they are randomly dyed, which is pretty cool, between 2 and 5 inches. And so you can use something like that. And actually, that's what I'm using. So I'm using a teal and green version of that. So I like to do my grids for the quilting or the decorative stitches here on the diagonal. And to me, it's a little bit easier to do it that way. And so I just literally used a friction pen and my ruler, and I started out from corner to corner. And then I didn't need a lot of decorative stitching in here. I just kind of wanted a touch of that. And so I went every 2 inches, I measured, drew a line, another 2 inches, drew a line. And on both sides, then I turned it the other way, did the same thing. And so then it was real easy to just follow along the line. Now I'm trying to see which ones I missed here. So you can use your decorative stitches. I highly recommend you try them. I just wanted to make the sample up kind of quick today, so I was just going with a traditional straight stitch here, and I'm just following the line. It's telling me where to go. Okay, remember I used a friction pen. Okay, what else? What other one am I missing? This one here. Okay, and what's nice about this is it's going to have multiple colors in this, and so teals and blues and greens in here, so it's going to kind of pick up some other colors. Alrighty, so I left the lines on there so that you can see these are the lines that I actually drew using the friction pen. All right, so you can see the lines, I sewed on them. I'm gonna take my iron now and get rid of those lines here. And then what's gonna be left is just that variegated thread. So it just adds a little extra dimension. And like I said, hopefully you can see this one was nice and sparkly, and I like the sparkle too, so that was fun. I'm just not very good at figuring out some of these decorative stitches on my sewing machine, so I just kind of went with the straight stitch here. So here we have it, and you can see, you know, if you look kind of carefully, you can see some variegated colors in here. Now the next part is just literally to sew the two pieces together. So you want to do right sides together, and I just use that 1/4 inch all around. Okay, except you do want to leave an opening so that you'll be able to turn this. See, so go. I'm gonna sew this around. I'm just kind of holding it in place. It's very sturdy, so it's really not wiggling around too much. And so I'm sewing my 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna be turning that, and then when you turn that, you wanna make sure that you are going to be taking the corners and kind of helping the corners along there. So I'll show you what I mean, so that when we're turning it inside out, or back right side out, I guess I should say, that we will have some nice corners. You definitely want to make sure that you are doing the corners real nice, because that's going to make a difference. And this is not my words, but I heard this from somebody, where somebody goes, "Oh, that's pretty nice. You made that?" Or, "Oh, you made that?" So that's what they say. So these are the things that you want to keep in mind. So I just sewed around almost all of it. I'm just leaving a small opening. And then I'm going to just turn it right side out. But before I turn it right side out, I'm going to snip those edges there. So you can see I have the little corner here. I just have to be careful I don't nip the actual threads, but this is going to help reduce some of the bulk that's in those corners there. And so that when you turn it back right side out, it's really going to make a difference there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. Come on. Okay, so let's turn this back. So I put it where it's just, I could just barely get my hand in there. It is a little stiff, so it's kind of like turning a paper envelope inside out. You know, it's kind of got the stiffness like that. And so you want to work it. It's going to take, you know, take some patience here to turn this inside out. But once you start getting it through, it goes through pretty easy. Get some of the threads out of the way here. And then what you're going to do is, once you get this turned inside out, or right side out, I keep saying that. Then what we're gonna do is we're going to finger press all the seams all around the edges there. And then I'm gonna make sure that everything looks right after I finger pressed everything. And then I'm gonna take the iron to it so that I have a nice crisp edge on that. So like I said, this does take a little patience while you're turning it inside out. And we're almost there. Okay. Once you get it kind of started, then the rest kind of comes pretty easy. So I have my handy dandy chopstick to start pushing this along here. It's a little bit easier when I use that. Remember, you don't want to go anywhere with a sharp point. You want to have a blunt point so you don't have anything poke through the fabric there. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to wind up turning this all inside out. And then after you finger press it, you are going to iron it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put a very thin stitch along the edge. And that's going to help seal in that hole that we left, that opening from when we had to turn it inside out, which is right here. And then you're pretty much just about done at that point. Okay, so I think you understand this part of it. So let me just at least get the corners mostly pushed out here. Okay, and what I like to do is to take the chopstick and then just kind of run it along the seam here. It really does help, and especially if you're working it like that with your fingers. And since this is kind of stiff, it really helps to put the stitches right where you need them to be, and it's nice and even like that. So I just kind of run that chopstick along the edge there. Okay, so obviously this is a little crinkled, and so I'm going to tuck these edges in like this, tuck these in, and make sure that everything looks nice and flat. You're going to iron it, do a very tight decorative stitch, and I usually do it, I'm sorry, not a decorative stitch, but just a running stitch around the edge. I did it about 1/8 of an inch in, and in this case, you can see I did use the a different kind of thread. I used the variegated thread here, and I wanted it to kind of blend in. I didn't want it to, you know, the edges to pop out. And then on the back, this was like a black and gray, and I used a black thread here because I wanted it to just be just not noticeable, but it does make such a difference when you finish it with that. Then what you can do is you can come to the corners and you can put your snaps in. If you don't want to put snaps in, if you want to keep this permanently in this shape, what I would suggest is get a piece of paper for the corner. So if you have a piece of paper such as this, then you want to measure over like 1.5 inches and 1/2 inch down, go down 1.5 inches and 1/2 inch over, and draw and put a dot on your paper where that is. And then I'd actually put a hole through that so that you're gonna even it up with every single corner. And when you put that dot in there, remember, 1.5 over, 1/2 inch down, 1.5, 1/2 inch over, okay? And then you put 2 dots in your paper, and then, and you know, I can kind of show you. And then that's gonna be where you are going to take a marker or something like that, and that is where you are going to be wanting to put your snaps. Okay, so I will show with the friction pen here. We have here and here. Okay, so I went over and down, then down and over. And then you can make a hole in that and both of those dots, and then that's gonna even it up, and so every little corner will be exact. So then you can just stitch it if you want, just put a couple stitches in and out, and that's gonna hold it. I actually played around with snaps for the first time. I got this. It's called Snap Setter, and this is by the Snap Source. This was really easy to use. They have all kinds of things that you can either order online, or I know Joann Fabrics or craft stores, something like that, has snaps, or you might even have snaps at your house that you might want to use. But I chose some decorative snaps that they were all kind of the colors that went with the inside here, just because I thought that they were pretty cool. So this is our project of the month. Like I said, this is our 3D travel tray. This one's going to be just a hint smaller because I only used a 10-inch square, but I would finish this up the same way. So put my paper on here, and after this is all evened up, mark off where my points are, you know, use my little friction pen or a regular pen or pencil, and then that's where I would put it together and run the stitch through that, or I would put a snap in that place. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is in the membership list. Once again, my name is Sharon Cook, or I'm Sharon K. Cook is spelled K-O-C-H. We pronounce it Cook. And this is your project for the month. So I hope you make it. It's really easy. And let me know. Post some pictures up there on our website. And I'm hoping that, or our Facebook page. And I hope you make them. Thanks.